Okay, another quick tutorial. This one is for a wall run. This character actually does a wall ride because he skates, but whatever. It looks like this. That's so cool, right? Alright. Once again, I was doing a tutorial just because I couldn't really find one that worked very well for me. Which is to say I couldn't find anybody who actually explained it. Or who explained it succinctly, I should say. It's actually pretty simple. So I've got my... Let me get out of that mode. Laser scope. This goes basically in the center, goes out that way. And it detects objects, which I'm going to have my wall riding opportunities listed as object. So, if laser scope and this guy, which this is, if in the air, it's set to distance to ground less than 0. I'm sorry, greater than 0. I also could have done it as not touching ground. I just didn't do that. And X. So if you're in the air and you hit X and it detects a thing, then it will activate the counter. The counter will turn on my mover and my keyframe, which has my pose. The advanced mover dampens everything except for Y. Y is the forward direction on this one. Which is set to -6 meters per second. It's set to negative because it's backwards. I could move it around, but it's pretty even and at right angles as it is, so I really don't want to mess with it. It's easier to just set the thing to negative. Which is also actually what I've done down here, because this is for the other side, and it's basically the same. It uses 2 keyframes because I separated it so that I could mirror it as closely as possible. And the distance bit that I had is set to times -1. Oh, I should explain that. I'm sorry. The distance is, but to the wall is set as the speed of motion in the X direction. So basically I'll move towards the wall to be as close to it as possible. And then there is this keyframe, and what it does is actually it's hooked up to whether or not this even exists, this cylinder. And this cylinder is set to collide with objects. It's just there to make sure that I don't get too close to the wall as a result of my mover, so that I continue to look like I'm actually skating on it rather than kind of getting smushed up against it like it had been doing before, which was annoying. That's it. There's nothing else to it. It's pretty simple. It just took a little bit of experimentation. If you do it yourself, if you're doing a wall run, you're probably going to have to do an animation. Obviously, I didn't, just because of the way that mine is. And you will almost definitely need to adjust your laser scopes and your movers to fit whatever your particular preferences are. You might also put like a timer on it or something so that there's a limit to how long he can do it. I did not do that. Oh, you could also put just a little bit onto the Z so that he's kind of like falling a little bit as he goes, which actually I'm going to do that because that's not a bad idea at all. Just a little bit. I'll experiment to get it right later. Not a big deal right now. That's it. That's all there is to it. I will give it one more demonstration just so you can get another peek. So I skate, I skate, I skate, and I wall run. Wall run.